Well, this Bellular saying more huge nerfs for lower Kara. Hope you, Matt. He's reaching for it. It's your duty to save him from himself. Yeah, the narrow corridor with the 2 mobs right before the chess mobs in upper Kara is brutal. Other than shrouding it, there doesn't seem to be a clean way to clear it. The narrow corridor with the 2 mobs right before the chess mobs in upper Kara. You mean the bridge thingy? I mean lower Kara plus 13, Holy Pala. Yesterday, and with a team full of item level 280-ish, we couldn't even beat Moros. In none of the DPS new strats, I told them you gotta interrupt the friggin' beam immediately or I'll die in 2 seconds, but they just kept on wiping. No faith in the player base anymore. Should just remove Tyrannical and Fortified since they are pretty boring. I mean, yeah. Tangible presence is gone. What happened to your good videos and not just talking at a table? Bro! This is Bellular Clips channel where the posts clips from his streams, not his videos that are edited. Go to the main Bellular Warcraft channel to see his produced content you're mentioning. That's where all his true content is. His streams are more like podcasts like this clip is. Yeah, no. You're talking boring. Mega boring. Alright, let's see.
For what's going to impact you and me, Matt, I don't know.
Theoretically, I don't know how much time I even have before the end of season 4 of this week with video games. Brutal.
Yeah, there's a lot of Vidya to play, but yeah, so lower Kara difficulty has been definitely looked at, let's say, and basically said, look, lower Karazhan continues to stand out as an outlier in difficulty. When Blizzard says that, they're not saying that in a really, this is our...
Here's the thing, so they have a video talking about like how when a new dungeon comes out, it's not necessarily harder, it's just because it's new and you expect to do a 15 like you do the other 15s that you've already been used to for like half a year or a year. This is like when they're talking about something like Cohen, Cathedral of Eternal Night, right? When they added it in 7.1 or something, or 7.15. I think it was 7.1 they added it. Anyway, so they said it's like, well, Cohen wasn't really much harder than the other dungeons. It's just that the people knew the other dungeons way better. I strongly disagree. Lower Kara also when it came out? Strongly disagree. Lower Kara has been nerfed during Legion multiple times. Same with Upper Kara. The dungeons were just way harder. The only reason people enjoyed Lower Kara and Upper Kara is because it was nostalgic. Right? It was kind of cool to go back to that place as a dungeon. But as far as difficulty goes, you would rather get a 15 of anything other than Karazhan any week, any day of the week, any week.
Our opinion way, or they're saying this in a
data says.
Yeah, like from a data-driven approach, the completion percentage is lower here. So several ushers are taking a break from protecting the Opera Hall. There's one. Just have a bunch of, generally speaking, a bunch of nerfs there.
So big.
We've got Wicket, just 30 to 40% nerfs.
Correct.
Oh yeah,
the Westfall story.
That's the one that really ruined us last week. It was the
witches.
Point of Shank was pretty rough, but it was the explosives after the Gang Ruffians and Tidespeakers were down, which meant we had a bunch of invincible mobs spawning explosives all day. You're like, 3 explosives at the other side of where we're fighting is not very good for our DPS, who were definitely very on the ball dealing with explosives consistently. Haha.
He's talking about the affix explosive? Because I remember Westfall Story having any explosives, to be honest. Oh.
Happy. So...
You see, whenever you go into a dungeon, I'd highly recommend doing the mechanics. Because DPS, your job's not just the DPS. And yes, I am tilted.
Garrote, 15% nerf, and now correctly displayed situation. Maiden of Virtue, I didn't really think, maybe this is a hierarchy issue.
At hierarchies, well, this is the thing that's different about Mythic Plus design now, right? So you notice specifically there an absorb, which will just wipe you, right?
Yeah.
If you don't bust that absorb, it's a wipe. With Sacred Ground, you're forced to take that damage. And that's the same thing with Intangible Presence. Whenever you're designing Mythic Plus, and they know this now, you have to be super, super careful with unavoidable damage. Because if you have any unavoidable damage, then at a certain key level, that means the key is undoable. That's basically that, because they will scale, especially on Tyrannical, was like, you take that Sacred Ground out, and there is nothing you can do about that. Obviously, ideally, you take it, perfectly before the Mass Repentance pops.
Not gonna happen.
So you're only standing in there for...
Yeah, the whole point is to get like only 1 dot of it, but bro, not gonna happen. Some people will get 2 dots of it, and that's pretty much a wipe, especially like plus 15 with the Tyrannical. Yeah. Unless they pop like a massive cooldown.
Like 1 stack and 1 tick, and then you go out, but you still have the dot. Which means there's a point where the healer will not be able to heal it.
Yep.
And that's technically true of all sorts of incoming damage, but for bosses, they outscale specifically with Tyrannical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you run into a problem of, I literally can't do that. But like, with say mob packs, you can always like CC one, or take them super small at a time, or like kite. But for bosses, the unavoidable damage will just kill you to point. So it's like, that's why those are nerfed, even though they feel like nothing. Because someone will be doing... I mean, that's the thing, right? What was it? The difference at one point was a 32 in one dungeon and a 27 in the other, in Lower Cara. And it's stuff like that on Tyrannical is going to be the problem, where it's like, no, wait, that's unavoidable damage. You just brick the key. And that's a problem they have to kind of deal with, which is... It's weird, because it feels like they're fairly limited in what they can do with that. Because otherwise it feels too easy until you get to that point. But that's a problem with infinite scaling difficulty you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's like...
Comes the territory.
Yeah, is this going to be super easy on a 15 because people want to do it in 40? Maybe.
Yeah, and now...
Still think they need to lower the amount of time a key takes. I still think the main problem is... Well, 2 main problems with the Mythic Plus. 1 is loot, it's not enough. 2 is how much time it takes. It takes way too long.
I mean, certainly makes my life easier. Intangible Presence has been deleted from the game, and we've kind of already talked about that one. For Upper Karazhan, yes, this...
Huntsman will no longer cast Intangible Presence. Mounted Strike will no longer be cast on a nearby target if his current target is out of range. Resolved an issue where Attunement the Huntsman would resume casting Intangible Presence. Intangible Presence. Don't remember what that one is.
This one's fun. They resolved an issue where the chest pieces would regen health while in combat. Now, on Fortified Weeks, high keys, it just led to, okay, cool.
Yeah, chess is
I have all the health in the world now.
Chess is just slightly too slow to be fun for me.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise it's...
I just need all range for that, to be honest.
Kara is just top tier, super fun. Another funny thing...
It really isn't, though. It really isn't.
No. Oh. Do you forget the 2 corridors? The 2 upside down corridors?
Yeah, they're fine.
Fuck you, they're awful. Nightmare tier stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say stand in these green orbs while green fire's dropping on top of the green orbs. Now you can't soak the green orbs. Also, here's mobs that are in combat with you that you can't hit because they're flying away. And then all of combat's is kind of bugged. Also, oh, look, you fell. Oh, look, they're evading mobs. They're teleporting down to you. You're like, what is happening? It's a clusterfuck. It's cool, but it's a clusterfuck.
I look at the UI while I enjoy sights and sounds.
You're playing a healer now, so you're just like, you live in the UI. That's the one thing I don't like about healing. It's like, there's a little bit, like, I like healing overall, but it's still like, you play the UI, not the game. Yeah. That's why I love tanking so much, because you're playing the game specifically.
So this is the difference in tanking and healing. With tanking, you just press all the buttons all the time, and sometimes you use a cooldown for defense. With healing, you look at your buttons, and you look at like people's UI in order to press those buttons. You are not looking about almost anything. There's so many healers that they will almost always stand in stuff, and I can't even blame them, just because they're looking at the UI and not at the screen. They just can't see that there's something going towards them, that they're gonna stand in something, that something is flying at them. They just don't see it because they're so busy looking at the UI. Yeah, it's such a weird fucking change in how you play the game. It's fucked up.
Which is a weird distinction, but it's a real one.
So a funny thing...
Oh no.
Legion Mythic Plus didn't go away. Tashup is there. You can pick up the quest from him to get another, I suppose if you just knock out a +2, very quick 450 Valor. So, there you go. There's a few trinkets and rings. I guess No, yeah, that was just a few trinkets and rings from this you can go get that are strong.
Get your
Maybe even best.
drinks.
Yeah, so who knows? Blizzard have provided no comment. It just didn't go away. So we got that.
I wonder if they added Mythic Plus for sewers, whatever it was called, in Court of the Stars, because those ones have like set pieces for like jewelry or some shit. So those would probably be best in slots because like it's an extra set bonus. Anyways, yeah. So what was that? They should just remove. I ham to your good videos. No, were those the hope you met? He is reaching for it. It's usually to save him from himself. Oh, yeah. Bellular looks like he just took a big hit of copium in the thumbnail. Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So what the fuck are Blizzard supposed to do? WoW's eternal problem. Never solved. Alright, well, that's the video. And yeah, go to the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.